Hi. Today, me and my group are going to be doing a podcast discussing and comparing the movies Babylon and Fall Guys and just the overall movie industry in general. My name's Tristan Zhang. I'm a freshman studying business.
My name is Alana Bravo. I'm also a freshman and I'm double majoring in political science and English.
My name's Ava Wayne, and I'm a freshman studying social work.
Okay, I'm Andrew, and I'm a freshman studying ECE.
And my name is Brandon. I'm a junior studying media and cinematic studies.
So
Uh,
I can start is that okay? So I feel like the movie Babylon, as a whole, I feel like it's a very chaotic kind of movie. Like it shifts from chaos to calmness in terms of the parties and how extravagant they are and then it shifts to reality and how people how the industry affects them when it comes to drugs and money and just overall almost they're hung over from parties and even the life of filming and how that entire experience can lead to a lot of people being exploited in this industry.
yeah, I agree with that, and I feel like that's a big difference between the two movies, like how like big the scope is in Babylon compared to Fall Guy. Because in Fall Guy, it's really just focusing on one single actor and his story of how the industry has treated him poorly. But while Babylon shows the whole lives pretty much of multiple careers and how it leads to the end of their lives, which I just think is just a bigger scope, but it's telling the same story of that actors don't have full control of their lives.
Yeah, I think that ties into just like the replaceability of actors, especially in uh just like with uh like like superstars in general. Like you wouldn't think that they'd be replaceable, but you see with Babylon, Jack Conrad, his character was easily replaced when like audio started to get introduced. And then it just like it builds up on a bigger point of the transition from silent films to films with audio, and a lot of actors like struggling to make that transition. Like, there was actor Vilma Banki, a famous silent film star during the 1920s. However, she had a strong Hungarian accent, which led to a decline in popularity once audio got introduced to movies. And we saw that with Jack Conrad when his delivery was really off, and he was like the biggest movie star at the time, but he got replaced like within 2 years. Just like that really adds upon like the pressure that actors have to go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also feel oh, I'm sorry.
No, you
Oh,
good.
No, I'm good. I also feel like the same thing happened with Nelly. Like she was a hit during the silent movie making. And then when she started talking, people were like, oh, her Jersey accent, kind of shaming her for her entire lifestyle when they never really did that prior to her actually showing her voice. And now she's had a totally different light shined on her, if that makes sense.
yeah. And I feel like one of the differences is well, how between the movies, Jack Conrad, he didn't really voice act badly. It was never like he's a bad voice actor. I think some point they were saying how it's really just the people didn't like him anymore. It could be just they're kind of tired of him after seeing him on the screen so much, and they had a reason to kick him out. And with Nelly, though, I feel like it's a lot more of the change of styles, like beyond the silent film to or the silent form film to voice. She also just didn't fit the new style of how parties were and how they expect actors to be.
Yeah, I see it. It's like in relations to like fast fashion, like getting rid of different actors, and replacing them and how replaceable everybody is.
Yeah, I feel like that also relates to mental health, just in general,
Mhm.
especially with like Jack Conrad. His mental health just relies so heavily on what he was able to produce movie wise, that like once that got stripped away from him, he ultimately like killed himself. And then with Natalie, she got introduced to like so many different people, good and bad. And the bad people ultimately like sucked her in, and then she got put under a lot of pressure, and then also ultimately killed herself or overdosed. And that also kind of just relates to the overall like uh lack of empathy and sympathy in the movie industry. Like with Ryan Gosling's character in Fall Guys, he got injured and then no one really checked on him in a year. So that's just like it's just like with the fast-paced like industry of movies and the overall like pressure, it's just it like builds up on a lot of mental health that isn't really talked about just because of how famous and rich that we perceive the movie stars to be.
Mhm.
I think another like big connection to the two movies was like the replaceable aspect, like and like the like how things are changing and how that changes actors and like who's popular. Because like in Babylon, the sound difference made like the two famous actors we were following less popular. And then in Fall Guy, the like face swapping technology, what was that called again? Can you remember?
Um,
No.
I know what you're talking about
No,
though.
yeah. The
Hmm.
the face
Deep
thing.
fakes.
It's on the tip of my tongue. But
Deep
that like
fakes.
deep fakes.
Oh
Deep
Yeah.
fakes.
Fakes. Thank you. Yeah. That like made a difference and like that made anyone be able to do anything. It like got rid of the need for these stunt men who look like these people. You're basically just
Mhm.
able to like CGI anything. So like that's a big like change and it made these actors more replaceable because of these like differences.
Mhm. And I also feel like another similarity is like this theme of like pushing people to their limits.
Mhm.
Like in Fall Guy, of course, like he's get pushed. I mean, he's a stunt man, you know what I mean? Like his job is to fall, get right back up, and do that on repeat. And then for Babylon, like not only the actors like Margot Robbie's character and like Brad Pitt's character, but like also the people behind the scenes, like in the scene where the guy was filming and he was in like that hot box kinda, and like he literally like died. Like there's like a theme that's like even like beyond this, like they can still find a new man to record it. And then it's going to keep on going over and over again because these people are going to be continuously like exploited and just pushed to the absolute max.
Yeah, I feel like that's also different from like Fall Guys Modern and that movie's
Mhm.
like well
True.
Babylon it's set so long ago. I feel like today that if someone died on set that would be a lot more of an issue than it was
Yeah.
then. Because
Hmm.
also in like at the first set with the German director, a guy was like impaled and that was they kind of just said okay and let's keep going. That couldn't happen today.
That stuff is like easier to like be documented now. Like if that
It
happened
is.
now, like everyone would take a picture, it would be big news.
Yeah,
And then
with like mass media.
yeah, then that was not a thing for sure. But
I guess moving on, both these movies were considered flops
Mhm.
at the box office. So what do we think that like kind of it says about movies and
Yeah.
is it just like overall like attention grabbing or is it like something deeper? What do we think about that?
I
Um,
do. Oh, you can go. I'm sorry.
well, what I believe that it's more of like a because these are more they're not like reruns or like remakes of like movies that are already big and famous. It's just harder like in its entirety to make a new film or a new movie, whereas it's original and things like that. And I think they like lacked or failed on the aspect of explaining in detail like what the meaning or like the advertisement for each film, which like probably hurt them a lot in box office because if I'm walking into a movie and not knowing what I'm gonna watch or like what is this about, regardless of like who's acting in it, and like the trailers and things like that are confusing or like have underlining meaning, it's really hard for me to like grasp or understand why I'm going to go watch this movie.
I just wanted to add that Fall Guy, I think, is a remake of something, but it's not something like I've heard about. Have any of you guys heard
Mhm.
of it? So like the same point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw a trailer for Fall Guy and it just didn't I liked the movie, but it just didn't like catch my eye with anything in it. Like I've seen like I feel like I've seen a lot of action movies with big actors with all these like action things happening. So there was nothing specific that like got my attention to want me to get to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's crazy because like Babylon, like Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Tobey Maguire, and then like you have like in Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling and like Emily Blunt, who are like all like pretty like staple names, especially now in like the film industry. Like both of these movies to not even like impact the box office to that extent. It's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it could be difficult to cater to people like the average like movie watcher, like to watch a movie that kind of highlights the struggles that people go through while filming movies. And it seems like the audience is almost like more geared towards like people who are like movie fanatics and like people who also are
Yeah,
like who probably work or like have experienced something in that same industry, if that makes sense.
Not
like
very
know what they're
relatable.
looking at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very relatable to like us.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Um, What's it called? I really liked Babylon, and I'm honestly shocked after watching it, like that it flopped that hard, and I like never really heard of it because I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was like really good and like had just like a lot of good elements and like it had a lot of actors I liked. So I'm shocked I never heard of it before.
One thing I felt about Babylon is like even compared Fall Guy, like already like the movie sets, all the things going on, it felt pretty like big, but Babylon
Mm-hmm.
was like huge. It was like, and it stretched beyond just the movie set. It stretched into like
Mhm.
their own lives and stuff.
Yeah.
And one, I read an article, like a short review about it, and one thing he seemed to have an issue with is it seems too over the top. Like the parties
Yes.
are all over the top. Like the first set with all those people, that was very over the top. And I mean, I don't know. If do you think, well, first also it tries to touch on it's 3 hours long and it tries to touch on so many things at once. And I feel like it's like too much at times. It's a little
Yeah.
bit too
I
indulgent.
I think there's too many characters that they
There's a
focus
lot of characters, and then I feel like there's not a lot of like character development,
on. Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's like a lot of like the plot lines kind of like lead to nowhere, which I
But
can get why people would say how it
yeah,
seems like it's kind
gave
of
me a little bit of everyone without giving me enough of anyone.
mm,
I feel like the only one that was really developed was Nelly and like Manny. Like other than
hmm
them, everyone else was kind of like there here and there, and it was like I feel like they should have had less characters and focused more on their stories.
yeah.
No, I thought Jack Connor was pretty well developed. It was more
Him as well.
yeah, it was like the rise of Nelly and Manny, but like the fall of Jack. And then there was what was the trumpet player's name? I feel like
I know
I
what you're
could
talking about.
see what they were trying to do with him, just like the rise of like inclusivity with like the movie industry. It was just like having three or like really like four main characters that we're trying to follow in such a fast-paced movie.
And then there was like the snake lady too, or
Oh
the
yeah, like yeah,
Hmm.
it was just a lot. It was just a lot. Yeah.
I feel like Sydney was like he really got like no screen time at all.
Yeah,
I
Mhm.
mean,
for real.
all of them, but like we didn't really have any time with him. It was kind of weird how
Mhm.
they just
Yeah.
it feels like
Like
they
I feel like
forced that
they were
at
just
the
kind of
end.
like hovering in the plot. Like they were just kind of there to be there in like certain
Yeah.
situations.
I feel like there was a few other ones too, but I don't even remember because there was just too many characters.
Yeah.
I guess just drawing us back to like the main point of the podcast is just like what do we think has changed in the movie industry and like what do we think has endured in the movie industry?
I feel like something that has changed in the movie industry is like, or not even the industry, but like in society is the length of movies. Like we touched upon it a little bit, but like a 3 hour movie or like Star Wars, you know how those movies are usually really long. Like I can't
Yeah,
sit there and
Avatar.
watch that. Like I can't sit there and watch that the whole entire time and like retain any information. I'm gonna get bored or go to sleep.
Hmm.
So I think, I mean, that ties back into like why I feel like they flopped as well, because going into it, if you don't even know what the movie's about and then you see it's 3 hours on top of it, it just gives you more
That's
of the
true.
reason why I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah. And especially like Babylon, it's like Star Wars at least has like a franchise to build off of.
Yeah,
Babylon's like you just have to hope it's good basically, and you really don't know what it's about with the
and you
Yeah, and
might
trailer.
then
waste 3 hours of your life.
right.
I also feel like just like the overall stuff that we expect from movies has changed. Like with Margot Robbie, it was a character we got like captivated by, like, or like they expected people to get captivated off her dancing. But we see
Mhm.
that in today's movie, like we're not watching that. We want like action or like heartbreak or like fight scenes that
Or
like
like
over the
a
top, like Avatar, Star Wars.
yeah, like a more like a plot that's kind of like a little bit more put together and steady. Because I feel
Mhm.
like there's so many like different things happening at once in this movie. Like you want a movie that either has like a beginning, middle, or end, or like people love like a good like like a trilogy or like you know what I mean? Like people love
Mhm.
stuff like that. So like when you do like if they did like a Babylon 2 or
Mhm.
something like that, like let's say this movie got like really popular and they like split it up in parts, I can see it being more popular. But with people's like attention spans now, like Brandon had said, like it's just not gonna work out. A 3 hour movie just sitting down and being bored isn't what people want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally enjoyed like watching it because I like kind of like being immersed in a movie, and when I'm like entertained by what's going on, then it's like good, but I understand why people wouldn't. Like a lot of the times I go to the movie theater with my friends and they'll just like be on their phone and like stuff like that because it's just like hard and there's so many like other things to think about, and when a movie is that long and you're not fully in it, it's impossible to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think something that has endured though is I noticed that Margot Robbie's character Nellie got plastic surgery, and
Hmm.
I feel like that's something that a lot of actors do now. Obviously, they don't admit it, but like there was a lot of speculation and just like the emphasis on beauty, especially in women, but like even men get a lot of plastic surgery now too, is something that I feel like has definitely endured, and it's just like ties again back to like the pressure of trying to like not get replaced and always like be at the top.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think like at the ending of Babylon, the whole the slideshow of all the different technology and it
Hmm.
was going really fast, which I think is supposed to show just like the movie industry is just constantly evolving and it's hard to really keep up with all the new technologies and I mean the people are always changing.
I
Hmm.
think something that stayed the same is how bad acting is for people's mental health. Like we
Oh
see
yeah.
like every like I mean the two main characters basically they die. Like Jack, he kills himself, and Nellie, she basically does as well. And I feel like that's something we see a lot now of just actors just like I don't know, having big drug problems and dying young just because it's
Yeah.
so fame is not something I don't think anyone was meant to have. And it's gotten even more crazy now with like new technology.
Yeah, like if you think of like Heath Ledger, like
Hmm.
after the Joker role, like that's what I think of when you say that. Like it was like his mind was completely consumed with this role. And I feel like that kind of ties into like that idea of like exploitation. Like even though like people aren't getting like killed on set like that anymore. I feel like like writers still go on strike. You know what I mean? Like they feel in like some sort of sense that they're not being seen for their talents, even though they're the reasons for like why we have the movies that we have today.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, like a lot of the movie, I mean Jack like when he killed himself, he was pretty on the point with it when he said he told the Asian girl, she was like, he just said, "I'm tired," because he was the top of the industry. He
Yeah.
everyone looks at him, so
And
just
he
all
like
his
couldn't have, oh sorry.
he didn't feel.
Yeah, I was gonna say he couldn't have a life without fame. Like he like these people like when you become famous, you're like in a different world and like you can't like when that's gone, they like really can't see themselves living a different life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a drug, it's
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess my last question is just who do we think like these types of movies about movies are intended for? Like because they are like big production films, but like who do we think they're really like trying to reach?
Like general audiences, but it's just not hitting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like how I said
Yeah,
earlier, I feel like people like they probably just don't care about like movies about movies and like how actors and like people behind the scenes are treated. So
Mhm.
it's hard for them to like go sit down and like watch a movie about that. Like I
Yeah.
feel like a movie like Babylon, like it's I feel like it's more catered. I feel like it's a little bit more niche, if that makes sense. Like it's not for like a big mainstream
Mhm.
population, but like I feel like Fall Guy tried to by like making it a little bit more funnier, like even like the color palette of the movie is a lot brighter, like the vibe is a lot more energetic than I
Mhm.
feel like Babylon is. But yeah, that's like my stance on that.
I think the problem with Fall Guy and it being a movie about a movie is that it's also such a basic action movie, where it being like, oh, movies and it's action, it doesn't stand out at all. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, action movie. It's not action movie about this. It's just action movie.
Mhm. Does anyone have anything else to add, or else we could just wrap up?
I think we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
It was nice to talk to everybody.
yeah, it was nice
Uh,
talking to everyone.